Hi, it's Kimberly, the HR strategist, and welcome to my YouTube channel, your online resource for all things people management. Today's video is going to be about how to help your employees get unstuck. And by unstuck, I mean how do you help them move past obstacles or possibly challenges or boredom, if you will, to their optimal peak performance. Now, if you've ever been stuck in your life, whether it has been personally or professionally, you know how debilitating this can feel. So let me start by saying that getting stuck or being stuck sucks. It is nothing fun about it. It doesn't matter who you are, in some cases, how much resources you have, what you have accomplished in the past. None of that seems to matter. All you can focus on is that very thing that you are trying to do at this moment that you cannot seem to get off the ground. No matter how hard you try, in fact, the harder you try, the more impossible it appears. What I have come to recognize is that you have two types of people when it comes to this stuck phase. And so number one is your go-getters. Everybody know what a go-getter is. It's that individual who just keeps going at it moment after moment after moment, just pounding it out, trying to make something happen. Go-getters has a positive reputation. And then there's individuals that I call wave riders. Wave riders are individuals who ride high on the wave. They ride high when things are going well, and then when it's not, they ride that thing on to shore and they just sit there on the sidelines content with watching everybody else do their thing. Now, on a management team, it appears as though your wave riders are individuals who just withdraw or give up because they're content at what they're doing, sitting on the sidelines. They're not contributing to the mission or the goal or whatever it is that you guys are working on at the time. So wave riders have gotten a bad rep. But I am willing to bet that on your team, both your wave riders as well as your go-getters are driving you crazy. That is because you want the go-getter to sit down at some point in time or chill out or just let the moment just take its course. But then you also want your wave riders to get more involved and to do more things and to get more active. And so you tend to manage their performance a little differently. But I am here to suggest that you stop doing that and start managing the performance of both the wave rider as well as your go-getter the same. And you can do that using my 4-step unstuck process. Step number one is talk about it. There is a current debate in the HR community as to whether or not performance management still has value. I would like to go on record right now and say I personally and wholeheartedly believe in performance reviews and management. For me, they are essential to moving your team forward as well as accomplishing personal as well as professional goals. Not to mention, your employees want your feedback. We are social beings, we're human beings, and we have been socialized since birth to look for feedback. You want to talk about it because your employees want to hear from you. Not only do your employees want to hear from you, they want to know that you are observing, you are a part of the operation. Because see, what happens is this. When setbacks or struggles come within the organization or within the department, some individuals may withdraw immediately. Others may continue to work for you, working hard, trying to, again, pound it out, your go-getters, in order to make something happen. But if that go-getter, that individual who keeps going and going and going, does not either A, see the fruits of their labor, or B, get some type of recognition within a certain time frame, and by the way, that time frame is set by the individual based on their own threshold, then 9 times out of 10, they're going to withdraw. You need to make sure that you are observant because these things will manifest in different ways. Now, believe it or not, employees like observant managers. Not the kind that watches over your back or always in your face, but the individual who is actually connected to the operation, who is consistently aware of what's going on and can speak to some of the things that are going on in the department. When you talk to your employees about the struggles or the challenges that you observe, you need to do it from an objective standpoint. And in order to do that, again, you must be aware of what's going on and you must know your employees. So what you would have to do is speak to the performance outcomes as it relates to past and present behaviors of the employee. You want to mix or match those two together. You want to think about or talk about how the employee has accomplished things in the past, what they're facing now, and relate that to what it is on the table that you're trying to get them to do or they're trying to do themselves. Once you have that conversation, it allows them to actually be free and know that you're understanding what is going on, and it makes them feel a little bit better. In fact, it makes them feel a whole lot better in most cases. But you don't want to stay there. Once you have the conversation about how they feel and what you've observed and how it ties in to the performance management outcomes, then you want to turn that conversation around and move forward to solutions. Step number 2 is lighten the load. Now, I'm not suggesting that you totally relieve individuals of their responsibilities. I understand you have a business to run, but you want to lighten up. Some managers, when things or challenges happen, they want to push the individual. They're thinking to themselves, they just need a little push, or they just need some coaching and some motivation. But as a manager, you need to make sure you recognize whether or not your employees need a push or if they need a break. Because there is a difference between working under pressure and working under stress. Working under pressure just simply means it's tight right now, but I can manage it if I just put forth a little bit more effort and just keep moving. The individual still have hope in that situation. But working under stress leads to hopelessness, because that is when you are so far underwater, you can't breathe, you are drowning, you cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel. Essentially what the employee is saying at the moment is, I can't do this. Not only do I think I can do this, I don't even know if I want to do this. It's that point where it's a little too much, at least for now. In most cases, you just simply want to lighten up. That is the safest thing to do, lighten up. Again, I'm not suggesting that you stop them from doing their work or relieve them of doing their duties, but there are some things that you may need to do. You can relook at your action plan, reevaluate it. You can push some things back, adjust your timeline, put some things on hold, or just scrap the plans altogether. You actually really need to look at what you can reasonably do to keep your operation moving forward, as well as lighten the load for your employees. Step number 3, I want you to engage the employee. Just because you lighten the load doesn't necessarily mean that the employee doesn't have additional work to do. But what I want you to do at this period is to actually redirect their attention. Turn their focus to something else. For some reason, there's something about novelty, new things, that brings a burst of energy. And we're going to use that in order to spark some new motivation to help these individuals get past this point in the performance cycle. I want you to think about the conversation that you had with the individual in step number 1, talking about their past and present behaviors. And then I want you to think about a project or a task or endeavor that you actually still need to have done that matches the skill set of this individual. And that's the key thing. I want you to assign something that actually matches the skill set, something that we know they can do. It may take a little bit of work, it may be new, but nevertheless, it's something that you confidently believe that they can take on, that they can do. Once you assign that task, I want you to provide guidance, give direction, let the employee know what it is you want them to do. You want to see a particular outcome. And then once you have done that, I want you to check in on a regular basis and actually get involved if necessary in order to help the employee along with this endeavor. And all throughout this time, I want you to praise the process. Praising the process is a tidbit or technique that I picked up from Stanford University psychologist Carol Dweck. Carol Dweck states that if we praise the process, the skills, the focus, the strategies that individuals use during good times as well as bad times, versus focusing on intellect and talent, that will move them forward to a growth mindset. That is exactly what we need to move individuals through this stuck phase. Step number 4, the final phase. Now that you have engaged the employee, you've lightened the load, you've talked about the situation, now you want to pull it all together and encourage them to stretch. See, what happens is this. When an employee or an individual works on something that better suits their skills, they start to feel better about themselves and feel more confident. Once you see that confidence boost up, that is the time for you to jump in and take advantage of the moment, because that is where the person is feeling most capable. Now I want you to go ahead and give them an additional assignment. This time the assignment needs to be something that is beyond their skill set, just slightly, because you want to grow them along in this process. So find something else for them to do now that is slightly beyond what they are used to and what they're capable of doing. May require them to learn some new skills, some new techniques. Give them that assignment. Again, provide guidance. But this time, I don't want you to jump in so readily. But I do want you to make yourself available. Because what's going to happen is this. When the individual comes to a phase or a point in this phase where they're stuck again, they're going to come to you because you've engaged them before and they trust you and know that they're not in this alone. So they're going to come to you for help. Make yourself available, answer questions, and then provide possible solutions, but don't solve the problem for them. Don't give them an extra amount of information unless they really need it. But what you don't want to do is take the power away from them. You want to see them work through this challenge. And as they work through the challenge, again, praise the process. The one thing to remember is this. Maintaining is always much more difficult than obtaining. Maintaining a certain level of progress requires diversity, encouragement, and constant work. As with all things, novelty gets old. Challenges get tough, but if you want to help your employees continue along the performance cycle, you want to make sure you employ the strategies to get them over the hump and keep things fresh for them so that they can always put their best foot forward. I welcome you to try my 4-step Unstuck process. There's no need to lose talented individuals over things that you can change. As managers, if you just simply commit to being professional coaches and trainers, I am positive you can help your employees to get past this unstuck phase, possibly help yourself as well. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Well, that's going to do it for me. I thank you so much again for tuning in. If you have any questions for me about the content that was shared in this video or any of my other videos, feel free to email me at kherring@thehrstrategist.net. I also invite you to head over to thehrstrategist.net in order to sign up for email updates. If you liked the message that was shared in this video today, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. And if you know of anyone who could benefit from this information, I invite you to share it with them as well. Until next time, please remember to be strategic about your business, and I thank you for watching.